Hello and welcome. I'm Lorraine Driscoll, and this is Building Better Brains, where each week we explore the root cause of why your child might be having a hard time with learning, with behavior, with reading, focus, emotional regulation, and what solutions are available that reach way beyond medication and accommodations and modifications on an IEP. Last week, I dove into the basics of getting your child to sleep. Let me know in the comments below, what have you tried? What has worked? What hasn't worked? If nothing has worked, don't stress. Today, I am diving deeper into the biochemical reasons why kids with ADHD and autism spectrum are prone to having poor quality sleep or even falling asleep. And so if you have been doing the things that I mentioned last time, like the sleep routine, like regular exercise, general good nutrition, the weighted blanket, the white noise machine. If you've tried these strategies in the past and it is barely making a difference or not at all, that can be really discouraging. It can feel really hopeless. When I see those strategies not working, I often find that there's biochemical reasons why your child's system is not able to settle and get good quality sleep. Certain nutritional deficiencies, hormone imbalances, yes, even in children, as well as gut bacteria and parasites can all be kind of the core underlying factors why your child is not able to fall asleep even when you feel like you're doing everything right. The first reason might surprise you, and that is parasites and candida. When clients work with me for other reasons, whether it's for their own health or their child's health, not always, but often we'll do different kind of gut protocols that address candida and parasites. And they're often really surprised that one of the pleasant side effects is they're sleeping better and they feel more rested. So many parasites can contribute to sleep problems and even insomnia. And one of the reasons is that parasites can affect the nervous system. So Lyme disease is a textbook example of this. One of the most commonly reported complaints or symptoms from Lyme patients is severe, debilitating, chronic insomnia, like they're not sleeping for days. And your child doesn't have to have Lyme to be affected. Sleep disorders and parasites are not limited to Lyme disease. Countless parasites have a similar effect on the nervous system and hormones that are necessary for good sleep and rest. So parasites are usually most active at night, which is why they can be especially troublesome when it comes to sleeping. Doing a parasite protocol can reap huge benefits and help your little night owl, so to speak, get quality sleep. I'm going to caution you to avoid too good to be true 2-week protocols that can be found in certain health food stores or more like supplement stores. A parasite protocol often requires more than 2 weeks, as well as change in diet, rotation, and antimicrobials so that the parasites aren't able to adapt to that 1 or 2 antimicrobials. So one indication that your child may have parasites is if their insomnia or behavior becomes worse during the full moon. And I know you're thinking, what? What's the science behind this? This is not hocus pocus. Parasites are most active and actually lay their eggs during the full moon, which in turn exacerbates behavior and other symptoms like insomnia. So if your child's behavior is worse also when it's damp or rainy, you can suspect candida or mold, since this tends to thrive in damp, moist conditions. I will go into more detail about that in a future video. Does your child's behavior get worse during the full moon on damp, rainy days? Give me details in the comments below, or kind of pay attention to that and feel free to message me that in the next few weeks to few months. So the next reason is also huge, nutritional deficiencies. This can be one of the best places to start when you have tried kind of everything. You've tried all these previous strategies that I outlined. Magnesium and calcium are the 2 minerals that I look at first when there are kind of these stubborn sleep difficulties. Magnesium isn't called nature's sleep aid or nature's Valium for nothing. It helps to relax muscles and just promotes an overall sense of calm and well-being. So interestingly, magnesium also tends to be one of the top minerals that not only our population is severely deficient in, but that ADHD children tend to be quite a bit more deficient in compared to neurotypical children. One of my favorite products is Magnesium Calm, which I have no commercial affiliations with. However, if your child has problems with loose stools or diarrhea, then they will be better off with a magnesium glycinate. I should also add, if they are having problems with loose stools and diarrhea on a regular basis, there's definitely some gut issues likely going on. Epsom salt baths as well as magnesium oil are also excellent ways to get magnesium into your child. And a lot of people find that they give their children Epsom salt baths and they sleep so much better. We can't talk about magnesium without discussing calcium, since calcium cannot be absorbed without sufficient magnesium. So calcium deficiency can be one of the causes of the brain feeling like it's on a treadmill. So if your child has difficulty with kind of settling down mentally, consider looking into calcium deficiency. Indications of insufficient calcium are muscle cramps, lack of appetite, constant fatigue, and of course, easily breaking bones. Liquid calcium supplements tend to be better absorbed. I should mention that as well, compared to tablets. And speaking of absorption, vitamin D and K2, because they both work together, is key in order for calcium to be absorbed. So you can see why one supplement won't out-supplement a bad diet or lifestyle, and why more than anything eating healthy is so important. Of course, the best way to get vitamin D is through sunlight, but if you happen to live in the northern hemisphere like myself, that can be quite a challenge, especially during the fall, winter, and early spring months. So instead of vitamin D, I would suggest supplementing with cod liver oil, since you're getting all kinds of great cofactor nutrients like vitamin A as well as omega-3s. Other minerals that contribute to sleep challenges are iron deficiency, B12, and even potassium. If a child is having difficulty staying asleep, low potassium could actually be the culprit. The third reason that your child may have insomnia could be related to allergies and sensitivities. So if you consider that antihistamines medications warn you that if you're going to take it, you shouldn't be driving or operating heavy machinery because it may cause drowsiness, it suddenly makes a whole lot of sense why high histamine can be stimulating to the point of experiencing anxiety, insomnia, and hyperactivity. To make matters worse, histamine levels rise at night. So I did several episodes on how histamine affects the brain in the spring and why ADHD and ASD symptoms can get so much worse. So if you did miss that, hop onto my YouTube channel or hop onto my website to check out the videos and articles and so forth. Seasonal allergies as well as food sensitivities can trigger an increase in histamine levels, while food allergies produce kind of that immediate response known as the IgE response with anaphylactic reactions and hives and so forth. Sensitivities have a delayed response known as the IgA or IgG. And the biggest offenders to suspect are gluten, dairy, eggs, soy, and corn. And these allergens tend to create inflammation everywhere, including the brain. So as I mentioned, if your child is worse during mold or pollen season, suspect histamine as a trigger to insomnia. Other agents, even natural ones that can increase histamine and keep your child awake, are phenols, salicylates, as well as preservatives like MSG and red food coloring, which is hidden under so many countless names. So food allergies as well as sugar can influence hormones, which is another reason why your child might not be getting quality sleep. So we know the impact of hormones on the brain, since mothers with polycystic ovarian syndrome or mothers who are on hormonal contraceptives prior to having children are at an increased risk of having children who are on the autism spectrum. So it's not uncommon for autism spectrum children to have subclinical adrenal fatigue or even subclinical thyroid issues. And cortisol is one of the stress hormones produced by the adrenal glands. And when cortisol increases above range, the sleep hormone melatonin drops, rather than cortisol rising in the early hours of the morning when it should, and then slowly kind of tapering off as the day progresses. And that's when melatonin would kick in. Cortisol can kind of fluctuate and even peak at night in a person with adrenal fatigue. And you might have experiences where you're exhausted all day, nighttime hits, and all of a sudden you can't sleep. So now, one oversight that a lot of people do is they just focus on the adrenals. You cannot support the adrenal glands and ignore the liver. ensuring your child's liver is optimally detoxing is key to ensuring the hormones are, kind of leaving the body, that those stress hormones are leaving. Key nutrients as well as herbs that support liver detoxification can help stabilize these stress hormones. So keep in mind that when insulin is not balanced, every other hormone in the body becomes imbalanced, which is why regulating blood sugar through high protein, high fat, obviously healthy fat meals, and snacks while limiting sugar and excess kind of starches and carbs can sometimes be the easiest place to begin. And that does not mean you need to put your child on a keto diet. So supplements can be a lifesaver when your child is not able to fall asleep. However, I do caution against using supplements as a permanent solution and to instead find the underlying cause that could be anything that I've already mentioned and more. So my favorite supplements for having a calming effect on the brain and body are melatonin, GABA, L-theanine, and of course there's, chamomile and valerian, which you can have as a tea and so forth. GABA is great if there is a physical unrest or anxiety attached to that poor sleep, while L-theanine is more kind of for mental overstimulation. So clinical nutritionist Trudy Scott has found some parents have had the best success by combining GABA with L-theanine. I do suggest always consult with your child's healthcare provider before taking supplements, and remember, addressing why your child needs sleep aids or supplements is key. For now, if you're wondering what the root cause of your child's challenges are or what they might be, hop onto my website and take the quiz. I will post the link in the comments below. And you can also schedule a free 20-minute Better Brain Breakthrough session where I will help you identify 3 changes you can make today to help your child move beyond their limitations and soar to their full potential. Thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to hearing about your experiences in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please share.